Yes, yes. Hello, hello there in the land of the internet. Let me get my mic set up and I hope you guys can hear me. Yeah, hope that works and there's not too much breeze in the mic because it's kind of hot, so I have the fan on. But let me know if you're hearing me well or if you're getting a lot of breeze blowing in the microphone, right? Because we really don't want that. All right, so it's another Monday, and we're here inside the studio in Indianville, right? It's a bapplay studio, and for people who don't know what I do PC repairs. I do software installation, networking. I've even done some security system installation in my area. So there's anything IT related. I think I can comfortably say that that's the kind of stuff that I do, right? And it also gives me a chance to branch out to the world using the technology that is available to us in order for me to spread some of what is happening in my little country, right? And again, for people who are not, if it's your first time here, Belize is a very small country, um, under 400,000 people, just under 400,000 people. And of course, like I mentioned in my last segment, will continue to grow. The last country, and I thought that we were one of the smallest country in the world until I heard about, I can't even pronounce it, but it's Curacao, or where the girls went from Belize to play football. And I think their population is a little bit over 100,000, so it's like 100, 120,000. And I mentioned also Seychelles, who are also part of the blue economy buyback process, and I think they were the first, and their population is about 150,000 people. So, I thought we were small, but there's even smaller countries. What's up, Naya? What's up, Naya? Good to see you watching, right? And I can probably start with that. Naya, I think you placed some blessings on me this weekend, coming over to visit and inspire me all over, and I had me remember, I had me forget that there are things that kids do, that we as adults need to lean back on, right? And one of the things was the creativity. I think as adults we forget our creative side, and we are dwelled, or we are learned into that if you need to create something, it needs to be this way, right? And so I got a chance to watch Naya doing her thing with her project, and she took the Bristol board and she made a lot of different figures that I can't do, right? And they were learning, I think, about symmetry, right? The line of symmetry. And so it was amazing to see her create all these figures with the scissors and the Bristol board, and she showed me and say, "Oh, this is what I did." And it dawned to me that as adults we forget about our creative side, and our little inner childhood that we still need to grab onto in order to be innovative. And so it's something that is missing in our society. So Naya, thank you for reminding me of that this weekend. It definitely plays an important role, right? But again, good night to everyone. As you see, as a part of the topic, it says let's make the impossible possible, right? And I say that to say that not everything is out of reach for us. Not everything that we see as impossible mean that it can't happen, right? Nelson Mandela said, "It only seems impossible until it's done. It only seems impossible until it's done." Now that means that we just need to start, right? We just need to start getting the ball rolling in order for us to accomplish something, right? So we can look at something and say, "Oh man, this is impossible for me to do," right? And the minute you start telling yourself that something is impossible, it means that you're beating down on yourself. So you need to start telling yourself that things are possible. It is possible for me to do this. It is possible for me to do that, and learn how to ignore the echoes, right? Or learn how to ignore the whispers or the whisperers in your ears who are telling you you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that, right? Because for you, you have to start telling yourself that it is possible, but it is only possible if I start, right? And that's a key thing. So that's a great reminder for me that everything in this life is possible, right? Through whatever higher power we give thanks to, it is possible. And I'm seeing that manifest itself throughout this week for me, or throughout the weekend for me. I did a lot of work over the weekend, and I thought, you know what, there's certainly some blessings to be had in everything that we're doing, from day to day, especially given these times, right? There's certainly some things that, shows that there's a higher order in play, for us, and it's helping us, guiding us, through the way. As long as we dream it, it means that it can happen. But remember that dreams happens when your eyes are closed, right? And the reality happens when your eyes are open. And so it means that you have to put in the groundwork, in order to get things done. So again, just some reflection, of what I was thinking about over the weekend, and I thought about the what seemed impossible for many people is now possible, and I give thanks to the brother Nigel Petillo, and I see him working with other companies in terms of, sharing out or distribution of land to many Belizeans who could not afford, land. And so I think I saw an ad out that they're doing the half acre, for 6,500, and they're taking payment plan and so forth. That's the Belizean dream now, right? And some crazy person on a comment, but so I hope that you're screening the members or people who are buying land, and the response was so accurate. The response was so on point, where they mentioned that I hope that one day we can ask our government to start screening the people who buy land in Belize, so that we're not just selling out our jewel to people who have no use for it, or people who will not use it, for more than just another selling point, right? So definitely, Nigel is on the right track. um, it's something I applaud him for, like many other Belizeans who continue to fight the good fight of fighting for the people, of Belize, and making sure that things are done right. And of course, there are those who keep quiet about everything, right? I was out this evening and I saw a nice motorcade to, give thanks to the females who played, soccer with us, for football, who play football in Belize. And I think we had three of them from Toledo, right, on that team. And so they came in back this evening, and there was a nice motorcade for them. I applaud people for that. We don't have to have a parade. We can have a motorcade. It's only vehicles going around. Nobody is spreading the COVID that way. A couple of vehicles involve the members of transport and traffic department, and so it means that we are acknowledging the good work that these females are doing, and they represented us well, right? So that's key. They represented us very well. Apart from that, there are some other things on the table I just want to cover, before I get sidetracked, because I get sidetracked very easily. There is the causeway again, and I spoke about this issue last week, with the causeway and the whole environmental impact assessment that was supposed to be done, and how all of a sudden it came to being that the paperworks were there. And I want to thank the brother, Almandares, right, who also made sure that we know that, and we're living in a technological era, that all the things that were done in the past, there were some documentation left. So even though you hear people from, the previous government say, "Oh, we never know about that," they pull back up some video and say, "Man, this that want to say, this that want to happen." In fact, on my actually more fast forward the whole situation, because then people got money to spend. So it still shows that there is a level of hypocrisy that happens in our country, right? And we leave it to happen. But again, big up the brother for pointing it out, because it is real that they take away for now. The gas prices I think the price of regular went above premium gas now, right? And we continuously see the hike in gas prices. I'll tell you, and in case you don't know, the minute you have high fuel prices, it means that the prices of everything else goes up. If you're transporting goods from Belize City Port, from Belize City to Toledo, you're burning fuel. So it means the price of your fuel, if that goes up, then the price of the goods goes up. And so there's a cause and effect that happens for that type of business. But we continue to see the hike in gas prices, even though world prices for gas kind of remains constant. Right, so it's something that we have to do our own research. And nobody ever asked the question of what does Belize actually pay in terms of importation of gas, and how much money is going to the government, or how much money goes into the public pocket in that sense when it comes to gas prices, right? And so it's something that we have to look at. I want to do my own research into it so that I know, right? And I've heard a lot of different scenarios that happens in terms of gas price, but I can tell you that looking at how things are going, I don't see gas prices going down. So I mentioned to somebody the idea that these little motorcycle, there's a name for it, motorcycle stuff with the covering. I think Mr. Paulino has one in our town. These things will get common, the tuk-tuk, right? So those things, they will get common in the next coming years, simply because of the price of gas. So I could understand why a lot of people decide that they'll use motorcycle now, because it's cheaper on fuel. And of course, take a walk from time to time, ride a bicycle from time to time, as soon as the roads get fixed. Because again, the roads are terrible. I hear people every day complaining about the bad roads, and I wish that there was something we could do as a community to get our roads fixed. But again, it takes a community effort. Everybody kind of just sit there and hope that something will happen, right? But we continue to ask, we continue to beg, I continue to wonder where our tax dollars are going. I continue to wonder where our money that we're spending in our town, where is that money going, right? But again, these are just questions that arise from time to time, and nobody sees it or nobody questions it. For some reason, everybody is in that I don't give a damn mode, and we leave it to flow, which is kind of the wrong direction to be heading in, right? So whatever plan you have for your area, I would like for you to execute it. Whatever works you have that you want to see, and it's affordable. Talk to some people, talk to a group about it. I think it is only by collaborating that we get things done. And I think about or we get things done that we thought were impossible. And I think about the Wright brothers, right? And they flying at the aircraft, and they decided that we want to go up there in the sky, which people thought was impossible. Two brothers made that happen, right? And they did that by simply collaborative thinking. I think if it was only one, it probably would not have happened, right? Belize getting its independence, there had to be a group discussion for that. I don't think one man made that happen. There had to be a group discussion to say, what, we want to be an independent nation, right? And we want to be independent, at least politically, right? And now the next stage that we want to happen, we have to continue to collaborate on that. And so it means then that good things come from collaboration with others. I think a lot of ideas that I execute, a lot of ideas that I talk about, a lot of the ideas that people get, and a lot of my learning comes from just talking with other people, collaborating with other people, listening to other people, right? Sponging from other people, right? That's how I call it. But it means that the learning is a continuous process, and it's something that we have to do every day, right? And especially for the young people, ensure that you're learning something new every day, and don't let the work pile up, because I see it happening, and you know that students have the capability to get things done when deadline reach. And I think that Belizean culture, right? As soon as deadline reach, man, you sit there and do everything the same night. All of a sudden, and turn that magical smart person, right? But it means that somewhere within you, there is that energy, or somewhere within you there is that knowledge, somewhere within you there is that person who knows how to do something. But I will tell you this: in order for you to accomplish something big, you need to take little bites, a little bite every day, a little bit every day, right? A little bite here, a little bite there. If you're trying to eat a big pizza, you can't gobble everything one time. You have to do it bite by bite by bite by bite until you finish, right? So do something every day leading up to a bigger plan. And what that means is that have a plan for where you want to go, right? Have a plan for where you want to be in the next 5 years. Have a plan for where you want to be in the next 10 years. I know for the young people that is impossible, because I was thinking about myself at age 15, 16, and I got no plan. We just move forward with whatever our parents would guide us with. And so for the parents, I say offer that guidance to the young people, offer that guidance to the young person at home, right? Because they need it. At that age, at that tender age, most of us don't know what we want to become. Most of us don't know what we want to do, right? But we know that we want to accomplish the impossible. We want to do something that is impossible. So it means that we have to start now. And if we don't start, it won't happen. We have to do piece by piece by piece, right? Until we get it done. Causeway, we hear the people in San Pedro echoing that consultation is needed. And this is one word that I've been hearing over and over and over and over since the last government got in. There is no consultation with the people. There is no consultation with the people. There is no consultation with the people, right? So it keeps on coming up. And there was I don't remember her name, but there was a lady on the news from San Pedro who spoke about the causeway and said that I wish they would tell us, what benefits it would have for the island. I wish they would have spoken to us before ever signing an agreement. Now, I would remind them, like the brother did, saying that all this happened, last year and nobody said anything. But it is here now, and and I'm all the way down south, and I can tell you that a causeway for a population like us with such a pristine barrier reef and pristine sea will be dangerous. It won't be something good for us. It will definitely hamper with our environment. But the balance is whether you prefer money over your environment or you prefer the environment over money. And I can tell you that the government of the day prefers money. Right? So that project will see itself through unless the people truly stand up for what they see as impossible. That, I can't stop this from happening, I can't stop this from happening. Right? You can, but you have to unite. You can, but you have to collaborate. You have to talk to each other. You have to be singing the same word, right? You have to be singing the same song in order for it to happen. And that's something that we would deem as impossible, but it's something that is possible only by you talking to the next person beside you and saying, hey, what do you think about this? You think this is good for our place? You think that's something we want? And of course, have the people leading us also be able to talk, right? I think that is something that is definitely lacking. That whole talking to each other doesn't happen for us. We compete with each other for the most part, which is not good. I mean, at the end of the day, and I had the conversation with a group of people the other day that if only we could assist our brothers and assist our sisters in whatever venture they want, we would be a better place. But instead, what we do is that we hate on our fellow brothers and we hate on our fellow sisters when they try to make positive moves. We get jealous, right? And the only reason you get jealous is because you can't do it yourself. But don't let anybody tell you can't. You can. You got the same kind of brain they got. You can make things happen for you, but you have to start. You can't sit there and say, man, I want to build a house, I want to build a house, I want to build a house. But you're afraid to put down the first block. I want to clean my yard, but I'm afraid to swing the machete the first time. Right? You need to start That's the only advice I can give you. You need to start, and it's one of the most difficult things to just start something. You want to open a business, you need to start. It won't just fall into place. Even the richest people on this earth, if they want to open a business, they need to start doing something in order to move forward, right? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. The other issue that comes up is the issue with see and bite, and I feel for those people, and I see it. Imagine in your yard, somebody decide they want to build something, and they're not stopping. And you're seeing this thing happening, and I feel bad for the poor workers because they're working, they need their money, and the powers that be saying, what, it happen anyway, just ignore it. We just ignore it and it happen. And we have a lot of smart people within the Garifuna community who can help. We have a lot of smart people within the Garifuna community who can come out now and let their voices be heard. Whether it be taking the government to court too, or trying to put your people together, and stop that development from happening. It happened in Punta Gorda for us with the development of a gas station. And I really don't understand what's the big deal in terms of the government and their gas stations. They want, 100 gas stations in Belize? Normally, in other countries, as far as I know, gas stations are situated 31 miles from each other. Because or I think 15 miles, depend. When your light meter comes on, you have certain, you can reach a gas station, right? And so, when you look at St. Bite people, then you won't truck. But they're putting a gas station in that area. There's a gas station in Placencia already. There's a gas station in Santa Cruz, right? But it's an investment. Somebody pocket they get filled. I could guarantee you that, right? And the people will use the area no matter what. Any investment that happens in an area, the people, we as Belizeans, we normally go and we support them anyway, regardless, right? But this is time for the people at St. Bite to stand up and say, we don't want it. But you know what happened? There's a division. Certain people stand up, certain people say no, certain people say yes. And so they need to unite, and they need to understand each other, and they need to explain what's really happening. Whether they want this thing or not, and look like they get billed anyway. So it's there to stay. And so if it's there to stay, then what happens then? That's kind of the direction they have to focus on. What happens now, that it's there. Because they can't stop it, and they're not getting the support they need or support they want. The other thing is the CBA. Where is the CBA on this? Why are people not calling out the Central Building Authority to say, yo, when you go on with this construction at CN, but give you a public announcement, right, from the CBA. And I know in each area there is a local building authority, and I heard on the news a couple of weeks ago that we're moving in the direction of having village councils, or the villages, being able to collect taxes based on businesses and so forth. That's a positive move. Some people are saying it's not a positive move because of the pandemic, blah, blah, blah. It is a positive move. A lot of the big businesses now have moved into the communities. The only thing we have to look at is how do we find people that are ethical? How do we find people that want to look after the best interests of their communities? How do we keep track of what money comes in and what goes out at the community level? And you think about the situation in St. Bite right now, and if I were a community member there, I would want to hear from each one of my council members whether or not they approve of what is happening, right? And so, but apart from that, the point was that where is the CBA? What is the CBA saying about this? What is the local building authority saying about this? If this was a small man building, believe me, the CBA I don't jump there and try stop, right? Then I don't send you a bill already and tell you stop bill without even telling you why, right? And comes back to my point of the CBA looking at communities like Punta Gorda in particular. I see them moving around. I see them with all the stop orders for people who are constructing their small house. A house 10 by 20. Small house. People want to build a family house. We have to go through the CBA. right? And there's a stop order because you did build something bad or because they feel like you're doing something wrong. If you really feel like you want to help a small community like Punta Gorda Town, assist us with zoning. We've been hearing this word a long time, right? Zone, 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 zone. Well, this is our time now. We got a bedroom from Punta Gorda who heads the CBA, right? The Central Building Authority. Help us with the zoning, brethren, right? Help us get the zoning done in Punta Gorda so we can have a properly planned town moving forward. Keeping in mind that there are some constructions that already happened. There are some areas that exist already that are still not registered as a part of town. There are some areas that still don't have access to light and water, right? Keep that in mind when you're looking at zoning. But let us start the zoning process before you come with your big metal hammer and say, yo, you can't build this, you can't do that, you can't do that, right? Let's start there. Stop being the person who sings the song from the bigger person upstairs who say you have to do this, you have to do that, right? If you really want to help our community, let's start with zoning. Give us your feedback on some of the construction that have been happening in terms of what in Punta Gorda. You know, I seen I stop one of my bedroom for build a small house while the Chinaman got a whole step over the street and nobody said nothing, right? But I guess money run things with the screw, right? Sad to see though that you have the people at the lower level getting manipulated by a little bit of cash, you know. And money reading people I know that, and somebody mentioned last night, everybody got a price. Well, you know what? There's no price for bapplay, right? But I understand that as young people going into the career, you feel like you have to show yourself. You know, show yourself to your bedroom where they just try to build a small house, right? Look for the bigger construction, assist us with in the direction that we need to go in terms of zoning. Look at the planned communities. Look at Belmont. Look at Belize. These places are planned, right? Kaya District, I think St. Ignacio, that's a planned community also. But assist the small communities who need to plan because that is your area of expertise. That is where you can offer your help. But don't say you can't do this, you can't do that, but without giving us a reason, right? The education process needs to come from you. So I would like to hear, and I would like some consultation done, and people will say, oh, the members of the CBA were here, and you know what, I heard that there was no council members. Who are people representing us? There was no council members at that meeting when the member from CBA came down and explained that this will happen and that will happen, you know, and then they like really and truly came down to, you know, reel up to the PG people and say this is what have to get done, and the fees are high. So if you want to build a fence, you want to build a house, you have to check with your local building authority. You have to check with the members at CBA, and so there's a lot of different fees that comes for the poor man, and I wonder if it applies across the board, and I wonder if it is the same for the rich people, if it is the same for the middle class people, if it is the same for the poor people, right? So definitely, you know, those are areas that we want to touch on, and a great reminder that the Bulu Youth Academy is doing a fundraiser this weekend. And the fundraiser is all a part of giving, making some money to give back to the community. That is spearheaded by Maro G. All right. So Maro is a part of the Bolo Academy, and he's assisting with the barbecue fundraiser. I think it's a 2 days barbecue that he's doing. So on Friday and Saturday, be sure if you live in Punta Gorda Town to support the Bolo Youth Academy with that fundraiser activity that they're doing. Right. Apart from that, you know, that's kind of what I have for you tonight. Dreams make good stories, but everything happens when you're awake. So that's a line I want to leave with you, right? Dreams make good stories, but everything happens while you're awake. And so make much of the daylight hours that we have, make much of the time that you have, especially for students in these times. You know, for our school midterm is coming up, and students are racing now to try to get in a grade to maybe impress the parents, right? Now that was work that should have been done long time ago, and so it's something that they need to start thinking about now moving after midterm, that, you know what, I want to be ahead of my game before the term ends, right? And it comes back to everybody living in this world. You always want to be ahead of your game, right? You want to make sure that you're planning ahead of everybody else, and of course, assist as much as possible to your brothers and sisters, right? Good. That's where I end for tonight, guys. And again, it's just me, just you know, some things that I've been thinking about over the weekend, and I thought I'd share it with you this Monday night. But like always, guys, have a great and productive week. Like the movie say, don't have a good week, have a great week, all right? And I'll see you next week, Monday. So go geek yourself, right?